Hello guys, how are you? So welcome to my channel Jazz TV Calgary. So today our podcast is based on spirituality. So I'm with the spiritual person. So she's a Sarah Kant and she is a quantum energy healer. So today we are talking about what is quantum healing therapy and how it works, how it helps with the people, and how it's different from the another therapy. Hello Sarah, how are you
Hi,
today?
nice to see you
Nice to see
again.
you again. Yeah. So today we are doing podcast about spirituality and what quantum healing therapy, right?
hmm
So can you describe a little bit about you and how you come in this field, right?
hmm
So
And how
how,
I started
yeah, and how you
essentially, yeah.
start. Yeah,
Yeah, so my beginnings were actually
yeah.
interesting because my whole life, when I was younger, a teenager, early
Mm-hmm.
20s, I didn't know that I was able to do any healing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not something that I would ever think of. I never thought of myself as spiritual, but
Yeah.
I always seemed to be pondering things and
Mm-hmm.
wondering, kind of deeper things when
Yeah.
I noticed that people didn't even think of them.
Yeah.
And what started to happen to me, I would say mid-teen, I don't know, around 15 or so,
Okay.
I started to see these odd pictures in my mind.
Oh,
They were not,
that's interesting.
it is interesting, but they were not so fun because it was me dying. It was
Yeah.
me always dying all over, like in a different way.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, and I would have certain phobias and fears, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. A lot of people have
Mm-hmm.
that, right?
Yeah.
But years and years later, I started to realize that I was
Mm-hmm.
actually remembering the way I died in other lifetimes.
Lifetimes.
Yeah, and then I noticed that a lot of people didn't have these kind of images
Yeah.
or pondering things like I did. Well,
Mm-hmm.
oddly enough, in 2007, I still lived in Mississauga, Ontario,
Okay.
and I went to a local card reader,
Mm-hmm.
and she was the first one to tell me that I had healing abilities.
Oh.
Yeah, so I moved. I saw her roughly June 2007, and I moved here to Calgary in October.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to do here because we had our own business in Ontario.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to do. So I decided to go to Mount Royal College at the time
Okay.
because they were teaching Reiki. And that's
Okay.
how I started. And when I took the Reiki course, there were 3 levels to it. It really did something. It really opened something up. And
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling so many, spiritual and things
Yeah.
that I never even realized
Yeah. So
were
that's a good
real.
thing for you, right?
Yeah, so it almost
Yeah.
like moved everything forward.
Yeah.
And when I finished the course, I actually started to work on people pretty quickly, like
Mm-hmm.
almost right away with Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was always in a session with somebody, I channel. So when I am in session with somebody,
Yeah.
I always get channeled information. As you know, I get
Mm-hmm.
messages, so I write them down. Well, during those Reiki
Yeah.
sessions, I was getting messages on how to start my own sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my beginning. That's how I started to create what I created.
Yeah.
hmm
So what is quantum healing? It is, and how would you explain? So how it is different from the another therapy of healing? Because there is some another healing therapy also. Some people doing sound healing and some of them semantic sound. There is a lot of
Different.
different type of healing,
hmm
right? So yeah.
Yeah. So different modalities. So what it is, you have probably heard the word chi or life force.
Yes.
Um, that's basically the same energy. It is the
Okay.
same energy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that is a vibration. It's a frequency.
Frequency.
And that's exactly what quantum therapy works with. I work with the energy of the person. I am
Mm-hmm.
also capable of seeing the energy. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's easier to know what to work on. The one thing, for example, I'm going to use Reiki because we already kind of brushed
Mm-hmm.
up on that. When I worked with Reiki, I find that Reiki more distributes
Mm-hmm.
the healing energy, but the clearings that I do, we actually do specific things,
Mm-hmm.
meaning removing frequencies, low
Mm-hmm.
frequencies, to
Mm-hmm.
bump everybody into a higher frequency. So the quantum energy, that's basically what it is. As far as, for example, sound and other
Yeah.
therapies.
Mm-hmm.
So healing touch, for example,
Yeah.
works with quantum
Mm-hmm.
energy, chi, life force, whatever you want to call
Mm-hmm.
it. Same thing. Sound works on vibration. I do sound therapy as well, and
Okay.
it's completely different. It works on vibration. So it's again frequency based,
Yeah.
where you're not moving the energy per se, but the energy gets moved by the sound, by the frequency, and your atoms in your body start to move and shift, and everything just kind of rebalances through that.
Yeah, that's nice thing.
Hmm.
Okay. So, and what's going on the energy or the body during the session? So, for example, the person getting a session from you. So, what he's feeling during the
Okay,
session?
that's a good question. Everybody is different to start with,
Yes.
but over the years, I've been doing this since 2008 and work with thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the general feedback was always feeling tingles,
Okay.
typically in the hands and the feet.
Mm-hmm.
Some people feel swooshes going through their body.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will see images in their, in their mind's
Mind, yeah.
eye. Temperature can change. Some
Mm-hmm.
people feel warmer, some people feel cooler.
Mm-hmm.
The body temperature shifts and drops down during every session. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I always put blanket on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people that told me they feel like they're floating. I've had people that tell me that they're stuck to the table they are laying on. There are people that actually can perceive beings around
Mm-hmm.
them, family members that have passed on.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has a different experience, but these are the general things that I have heard over time many times.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because everybody has a different type of experience, right?
Yes, and everybody perceives differently,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
the big difference.
yeah. Do you wanna tell some interesting if you get any client or he tell you about after that session is something interesting?
Like interesting feedback, you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I can't really go into personal experiences,
Mm-hmm.
but typically people feel light afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So as far, it's really hard to tell because
Yeah.
one is right after the session. So right after the session, everybody feels the lightness,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's also expansion. I always see people getting brighter.
Yeah.
So right after the session, they're really, really bright. As far as the feedback longer term,
Mm-hmm.
people let me know
Mm-hmm.
later that they have had release. I've had actually one young woman
Mm-hmm.
who had some very heavy abdominal cramps,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't know where they were coming from, and they were so bad where she would be walking on the beach and she would literally collapse in pain.
Yeah.
And we cleared it just in one session and they were gone.
Mm.
Yeah, the other thing I can use a great example, which is my sister. She
Mm-hmm.
was, when she was pregnant with her fourth girl,
Okay.
she was, I believe, in like an 8 or 9 month,
Mm-hmm.
and the baby was sitting on the nerves to her hips,
Okay.
and she couldn't walk properly. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she was in so much pain. Of course, we
Yeah.
can't take
Yeah.
painkillers. So I told her, I said, come over. At that time, I was working out of
Mm-hmm.
my home. And I said, come over and we're going to do a session. And she says, I can't walk. I said, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're already moving. Come here.
Yeah.
So we go. And at that time, we had to go into the basement
Mm-hmm.
floor to do the session. So I work on her. And it was a funny thing because she hops off the table, doesn't realize anything.
Yeah.
She starts chatting, chatting, chatting,
Mm-hmm.
and then she runs up the stairs. And not until at the front door did
Okay.
she realize that her pain was gone, and she
Oh.
was walking ever since until the birth of her baby
Wow.
girl. Yeah. So I have some amazing
Yeah, that
recoveries
kind
like
of
that.
right. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what do you do actually do in session? So for example, you work on chakras and you're clearing the energy, right?
Yes. So, as you know, I do several different
Mm-hmm.
sessions. The main one I call is energy healing and balancing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main one. I call it the main one just because that's the one I always start with.
Mm-hmm.
I work with the chakras. So, there's a chakra system of the seven. I work with 12 chakras and some minor ones.
Okay.
And basically, what I look for to see how clogged up or plugged up they are with the
Mm-hmm.
low frequencies,
Mm-hmm.
because for example, the frequencies below your feet, the
Mm-hmm.
chakras below the feet, those are already at a very low spin. So if they don't spin properly, people have a hard time either letting things go or
Mm-hmm.
moving forward or receiving things in their
Yeah.
life. So we have to clear those. the other thing that is really important to me
Mm-hmm.
is that at the end of the session, we actually not only release everything, we are cutting cords
Okay.
because you're connected to so many
Yes.
different things that drain you,
Yes.
right? Or that you're connected to that affect you in a way that is
Mm-hmm.
not beneficial. So
Mm-hmm.
we cut the cords. I do that at the beginning, I do that during, I do that after.
Mm-hmm.
But then the most important thing at the very end is balancing the chakras
Okay.
and putting it all together and rebalancing the energy as a whole. And
Mm-hmm.
at the very end, I put protective shields
Mm-hmm.
around the person's energy because, as you know, you're
Yeah.
going to be going through a detox, and we don't want anything getting in there while you're rebalancing.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, after the session, they might feeling low vibration for first 5 or 7 day, right?
That is the detox you're
Yeah, that is
mentioning.
the,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So,
remember when I get a session. So first 5 day it was too low, and then it suddenly like,
yeah,
yeah, and after 3 to 4 months, like I was like,
feeling
yeah,
good,
feeling
right?
light and yeah, it's joyful. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
so
much
that's
that
the
experience.
detox.
Yeah.
That's the detox. So it takes up to 21 days,
Hmm.
as you know. The
Hmm.
first 5 days to
Yeah.
7 days are probably
Yeah.
not probably they are the toughest, obviously.
Hmm.
And the reason for that is so. For example, when you lay down on the table
Hmm.
before the session, you're at a certain frequency. When you hop off the table,
Hmm.
you are a completely different
Yeah.
being, right? So you're in different frequency,
Hmm.
and your physical body and everything that you are needs
Hmm.
to kind of catch up. And what it's doing, it's leaking garbage
Hmm.
still,
Yeah.
right? And that's what the detox is. It's releasing energetic toxins. So for the first 5 to 7 days,
Hmm.
you're really feeling it. And I don't know how you felt it, but a lot of the times it's you feel either really, really down or you feel tired.
Hmm.
You can lose your appetite.
Hmm.
You can be irritable. You don't want to talk to people, right?
Hmm.
You can snap really quickly.
Yeah.
But after the fifth day, I
Hmm.
find it starts to clear
Yeah,
up.
it is.
And then, like you said, then you feel really, really good,
Yeah, it
right?
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing experience, right? Okay. So, do you think like, do you use like subconscious mind or any past life stuff? Because sometimes, if any memory like the person carry from the past life
Mhm.
or any karma or anything. So during session, do you figure out those things as well?
So I see those only as they come, and if they are connected to the session we're doing at a time.
Hmm.
So the way I describe every human being, even every
Yes.
animal, we are basically an onion. There are layers.
Yeah.
So every time we come for a session, there's always something else that's being pushed to the
Hmm.
surface that
Hmm.
needs to be. Mm, I don't even know if I would call it subconscious mind. It's always intuitive channel. I always feel this channel coming
Hmm.
through. So that's where I get the information. The
Hmm.
past life, they just kind of pop up during everybody's session when it's relative to the session.
Hmm.
So some people's feedback, as you know, I give people
Yeah.
lots of feedback
Hmm.
after the session. Um, if the past life was affecting your current situation
Okay.
right now,
Hmm.
I will get information
Okay.
because I'll tell you why. We're always connected to what we call past lives.
Hmm.
The past lives are not past.
Hmm.
Everything happens in present time. There is no time. So those lifetimes we have lessons as well. They are
Yeah.
connected to now as well. So if you carry something very, very heavy,
Hmm.
it will be leaking into your energy right now and
Hmm.
into your subconscious mind.
Hmm.
And in that case, yes, we're working with a past lifetime,
Okay.
which I clear up, and then I'll give you feedback as to where it was coming from.
Hmm. Okay.
Mhm.
So after the session, right? So how it helped the person better, or like when you release all the traumas, all the past life and connected. You already described, right? So the person feeling light and all. So is any changes for the person nature as well? Like he behave differently to the people?
Personality.
Yeah, personality. Yeah.
I wouldn't say personality
Mm-hmm.
changes per se,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say outlook on
Okay.
life. Yeah, because what happens is when you go into a higher frequency, it's
Mm-hmm.
more positive there, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when you lose a bit of your fear or a lot of
Mm-hmm.
your fear and anxiety, stress, those
Mm-hmm.
are one of the worst ones. Uh, you all of a sudden start to think more positively and
Mm-hmm.
you feel like there's hope, and you
Mm-hmm.
start to have also better things and more positive things flowing into your life and into your mind as creative ideas
Mhm.
because you had uh, popped up to a
Mhm.
higher frequency bracket.
Yeah.
So you feel better that way.
Mhm.
As far as personality changes, those would take some time. That
Yes.
would happen over time
Mhm.
when somebody is working really hard on
Yeah.
themselves and changing or releasing
Mhm.
things.
Yeah. And also, sometime, in our daily life, we met a lot of people. Some are on low frequency, some are on high. And sometimes people try to drain you, right?
Hmm.
They're talking so negatively, right? So how can we clear the energy after meeting those kind of people, toxic people or all?
You can just envision cutting the cords. Cutting the cords is probably one of the most important things.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going, let's say, into a meeting where you know that the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
situation will not be
Mm-hmm.
that pleasant or will be negative,
Mm-hmm.
you can already put a bright white light around yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and that's your protective shield. So
Mm-hmm.
you're already going in there with that protection.
Mm-hmm.
That means negativity will bounce off of you.
Mm-hmm.
However, if somebody happens to attach,
Mm-hmm.
just cut your cords. Just in your mind, you can do it right after the meeting. You can do
Mm-hmm.
it the evening off, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. 2 days later,
Yeah.
just cut the cords.
Mm-hmm.
All you say, I cut all etheric cords
Mm-hmm.
connecting me to low frequencies
Mm-hmm.
or low vibrations or
Yeah.
negativity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you can say, and so it is done, and then I heal these cords,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's done. And then you can put protective white light around yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly really easy
Yeah.
to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and it works. It's based on intention.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember when you told me about after session, right? So I try every night. Sometime I forget, but usually I try because we met a lot of people. So when I try to visualization, the white light, it's
Mhm.
good after.
But the light stays there. So if you are conscious
Mm-hmm.
every day, if you live your life consciously
Mm-hmm.
and you live it within the white light,
Mm-hmm.
remember the light is your shield.
Yes.
So eventually, when you get to a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
um, you will know that you're always protected. So
Yes.
when you are around negative people
Mm-hmm.
or in negative
Mm-hmm.
situation, it will bounce off of you anyways,
Mm-hmm.
whether you remember to put a shield up or
Mm-hmm.
not, because your light is your shield. That's my
Mm-hmm.
motto. Your
Yeah.
light is your shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. Sarah. So my last question is, do you believe in spirit guide and how we can connect with them and how can they help us in
Okay.
our life?
So all
Mm-hmm.
those with light
Mm-hmm.
have spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
People always ask me, "What's my spirit guide?
Mm-hmm.
What is their name? This and
Mm-hmm.
that." Well, surprise, surprise, you have more than one. You don't have
Yeah.
just one. You might have one main one, but
Okay.
even that can change over time depending
Mm-hmm.
on where you're at, which point of your life, and what you need help with,
Okay.
because there are many spirit guides. So what you have to understand what a spirit guide is,
Mm.
it's essentially you. It's part of your soul, and
Okay.
what it is different beings that you actually know on the other side. Those are
Mm-hmm.
your spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
It just, some of them are have their job as
Mm-hmm.
like their employment, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, is to be your guides.
Yeah.
And depending on where you're at, you will have a certain guide, and
Mm-hmm.
then maybe a few years later you need help with something else, so somebody else will come forward.
Okay.
And that's the same thing for animal guides. So
No.
yes, I do believe in them because
Mm-hmm.
they're part of you, they're part of
Mm-hmm.
your soul. We're
Mm-hmm.
actually all one. We're part of each other.
Yes.
And I know it's a kind of deeper
Yeah.
concept to go through,
Mm-hmm.
but we all have them. No, they didn't forget about you. Like a lot of people think, oh, I can't get in touch with them.
Yeah.
Well, no, because we are so far away from source that
Mm-hmm.
it's so tough to feel the energy,
Mm-hmm.
or our third eye is closed,
Mm-hmm.
or we're just disconnected because we
Yeah.
are so far from what we really are.
Yeah.
And what we truly are is love, right?
Mm.
But as we go through the stages within the spirit, we
Mm-hmm.
kind of divide and separate,
Mm-hmm.
and then us in the three-dimensional
Mm-hmm.
world, we feel so disconnected.
Yeah.
We don't really know who we are and who we have around us.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you a funny story. One
Okay.
time I went to a psychic reading. I went to a lady, and the first she says something like, "Oh boy, you
Mm-hmm.
really brought a big group in here, didn't you?" Because she could see them
Yeah.
right away, right?
Yeah.
So no, you're not limited to just
Mm-hmm.
one. There are many, and we
Mm-hmm.
always have them, and they're always helpful. You just have to make sure you ask for help.
Yeah.
If you feel that they're not there and you have
Mm.
never asked, all you have to do is say, "Help me," and you
Okay.
don't even have to say it out loud. You just
Mm.
think it. Say,
Mm-hmm.
"Help me." they'll be there. And then you just have to learn to listen. It's
Mm.
all about learning to listen.
Yeah.
Because they can't cross any stronger into our
Mhm.
three-dimensional
Yeah,
world.
because we live in three dimensional.
Yeah, we are in three dimension.
Mm.
We have to learn to
Mm.
connect to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, Sarah. So, if the person wanna book a session, so can you share your website with us so they can book a session with you?
Sure. Yeah. So my website is Chakra Time Wellness.
Mhm.
My email is chakramagic84@gmail.com. And phone number, yeah, phone number I can give, it's 403-689-5036. So just to repeat, 403-689-5036. Feel free to contact me. If you're not really sure whether a session is good for you, or if you're not really sure where to start, definitely send a message, send me an email, give me a call, and I'll help guide you with what you need.
Yeah. So, and if you have any question, you can leave a comment on our channel. So, and you can definitely reach to Sarah as well, email her, or you can text her, call her, and please give us a feedback. So, do you like our podcast? And if you have any question, you can leave a comment. And Sarah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.